Enoch, the seventh generation from Adam, stands as one of the most mysterious and significant figures in religious texts, particularly in the Bible and various ancient traditions. While Enoch's name appears briefly in the book of Genesis, his legacy stretches far beyond the confines of that text. Revered in Jewish, Christian, and Islamic traditions, Enoch is often seen as a figure who bridged the gap between humanity and the divine, gaining access to sacred knowledge that few could ever dream of. But who exactly was Enoch, and why does his story remain so important even millennia after it was written? In the book of Genesis, Enoch's story is succinct. We are told that he was the father of Methuselah, and that he walked with God for 365 years before he was taken by God, and he was no more. The brevity of this mention in Genesis raises more questions than it answers. What does it mean to walk with God? And why was Enoch taken, leaving no physical trace of his existence? The text doesn't explain, and this has led to speculation and interpretations in later religious traditions. The story of Enoch expands dramatically in the Book of Enoch, also known as the One Enoch, a collection of ancient Jewish texts that provide a much more detailed and mystical account of his life. Though this book was not included in the canonical Bible, it was widely influential in the early Jewish and Christian worlds, and it was regarded as scripture by the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. In the Book of Enoch, Enoch is portrayed not only as a righteous man, but also as a scribe of heaven, chosen by God to receive revelations about the mysteries of the universe, the heavens, and the coming judgment. The Book of Enoch describes how Enoch was summoned by angels to witness the secrets of the universe. He is shown the heavenly realms and given access to divine knowledge, including the workings of the cosmos, the movement of the stars, and the hidden causes of the natural world. The text also reveals the story of the Watchers, a group of angels who descended to earth and fathered the Nephilim, a race of giants. Enoch plays a key role in delivering the judgment of God upon the Watchers, who had corrupted humanity. Through this narrative, Enoch becomes a messenger and mediator, bridging the gap between the divine and human realms. Enoch's ascension to heaven is one of the most profound aspects of his story. According to the Book of Enoch, Enoch did not experience death in the traditional sense. Instead, he was taken up into the heavens in a divine chariot of fire, an event that echoes the later ascension of Elijah in the Bible. In the Book of Enoch, this event is described in vivid detail. Enoch is transported through the heavens, beyond the stars, and is brought into the presence of the divine throne. It is here that he is given even greater knowledge of the divine plans for the world and is entrusted with secret teachings that would be passed down to humanity. Enoch's ascension represents not just a physical journey, but a spiritual transformation. He is lifted from the earthly realm into the heavenly realm, signifying the potential for human beings to reach a state of divine enlightenment. This notion of a mortal ascending to the divine is rare in ancient traditions, making Enoch's story a powerful symbol of spiritual elevation and the pursuit of higher knowledge. His journey signifies the possibility of transcending the earthly limitations and achieving a deeper connection with the divine, a theme that resonates across various spiritual traditions. The search for the lost city of Enoch has been one of the most captivating quests for historians, archaeologists, and mystics alike. While the biblical and mystical texts mention Enoch's role as a prophet and scribe, few concrete details are provided about the city he may have built or inhabited. The notion of a lost city, a place tied to divine wisdom and ancient knowledge, has inspired countless theories. But one central question remains: where was it? Enoch's city, if it truly existed, could have been located in any number of places, and it's often said that the clues to its location are hidden in ancient texts. sacred geography, and spiritual traditions. In this chapter, we'll examine the most popular theories regarding the possible location of the lost city of Enoch, and consider how these locations connect with the symbolism and teachings of Enoch, as well as the celestial knowledge attributed to him. The connection to Mesopotamia and Sumer. One of the most compelling theories regarding the location of the lost city of Enoch places it in Mesopotamia, the cradle of ancient civilization. The region between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers is known for being home to some of the earliest known cities, such as Ur, Babylon, and Nimrod. Given that the Sumerian and Babylonian civilizations shared many similarities with the early Hebrews, it is possible that Enoch City existed in this area. In ancient texts such as the Epic of Gilgamesh, we see mentions of gods and giants, beings who parallel the Nephilim described in the Book of Enoch. According to the Book of Enoch, the Watchers, a group of angels, descended to earth and mingled with humanity, creating the Nephilim, a race of giants. This connection to the gods and their influence over early civilization suggests that the lost city of Enoch could be linked to Mesopotamian lore, where divine knowledge was often intertwined with the establishment of cities. Furthermore, the Garden of Eden itself, mentioned in the Bible as the place where humanity first dwelt, is often believed by scholars to have been located in Mesopotamia, near the rivers of Eden. Some traditions suggest that Enoch City was close to this area, hidden within the lands of Shinar, where the Tower of Babel was also built. The idea that Enoch City was a sacred and divine location, linked to the origins of civilization, resonates with the mythological themes found in the ancient Mesopotamian narratives. The link to the Holy Land, Jerusalem and Mount Zion. Another theory places Enoch City in the Holy Land, specifically around Jerusalem and Mount Zion. Enoch is said to have been a figure deeply connected with divine knowledge and spiritual transformation, and Jerusalem, known as the center of sacred worship in both Judaism and Christianity, has long been associated with powerful spiritual beings. In the Hebrew Bible, Enoch is mentioned as the great-grandfather of Noah, a figure central to the story of the flood. The story of the flood, in which the earth was cleansed of its corruption, could symbolize a great transformation, and some believe that Enoch's teachings were meant to guide humanity toward a more divine understanding before this cleansing. The city of Jerusalem, as the site of the Temple of Solomon and the center of the Abrahamic faiths, has long been a symbol of divine wisdom. Could the lost city of Enoch have been a precursor to Jerusalem, a place of higher knowledge and spiritual awakening? The mountains surrounding Jerusalem, particularly Mount Zion, were revered in ancient Jewish thought as spiritual centers, and Enoch's connection to these sacred sites could hint at a deeper, more mystical connection. The idea of a spiritual city located in the Holy Land that was the seat of divine wisdom aligns with many mystical traditions, including the idea of Shambhala, the hidden kingdom that is often associated with enlightenment. If the lost city of Enoch was a center for spiritual initiation, it may have been intentionally hidden, lost to time and war, much like the Ark of the Covenant, which is said to hold sacred knowledge and power. The theory of Enoch City in the Americas. An intriguing and less conventional theory suggests that the lost city of Enoch might be located far from the Near East in the Americas. Some researchers have drawn connections between the ancient civilizations of the Americas, such as the Olmec, Maya, and Inca, and the teachings associated with Enoch, particularly in relation to the astronomical and spiritual knowledge attributed to him. One of the reasons this theory has gained attention is the similar astrological alignments found in ancient American sites, such as the Mayan pyramids and Egyptian temples. The Maya civilization, with its advanced knowledge of the stars and calendar systems, shares many parallels with the astronomical and celestial teachings associated with Enoch in the Book of Enoch. Enoch, a figure revered across religious and mystical traditions, is often seen as the keeper of profound secrets, knowledge that transcends the ordinary understanding of the world. While mainstream religious texts, such as the Bible, offer only a glimpse of Enoch's life, it is in the Book of Enoch and other ancient writings where we begin to encounter the hidden knowledge attributed to him. But what exactly is this knowledge, and why was it considered so significant that it had to be kept secret for so long? One of the most fascinating aspects of Enoch's story is his role as the scribe of heaven. In the Book of Enoch, Enoch is taken on a celestial journey guided by angels where he is shown the workings of the universe, the movements of the stars, and the hidden causes of natural phenomena. He is taught the secrets of the cosmos and the divine order that governs the universe, secrets that were thought to be too powerful for humans to understand. These teachings were not just about the physical world, but about the spiritual dimensions of existence, the forces that bind the heavens and the earth, the invisible realms that influence human destiny, and the ultimate purpose of creation itself. One of the central elements of Enoch's knowledge is the story of the Watchers, a group of angels who descended to earth to teach humanity. The Watchers, however, became corrupt and taught humanity forbidden arts, including the use of astrology, alchemy, and magic. Their teachings led to the birth of the Nephilim, the giants who roamed the earth and corrupted humanity. The knowledge that Enoch was entrusted with was meant to counteract the chaos brought on by the Watchers, to guide humanity back toward a more harmonious and enlightened existence. However, this knowledge too was dangerous and required careful stewardship. The wisdom that Enoch was given was not merely intellectual, it was deeply spiritual. In the Book of Enoch, he is shown the hidden realms of the heavens, where he learns about the divine judgment that will one day fall upon the earth. He is given access to the Book of Life, a record of all that has ever been and all that will come to pass. This book, filled with the names of the righteous and the wicked, reveals the fate of humanity and the cosmic order that governs all life. The teachings that Enoch received were about the moral structure of the universe, the balance between good and evil, the laws of karma that determine human destiny, and the ultimate redemption of the soul. Enoch's journey into the heavens and the wisdom he received had far-reaching consequences. It is believed that the knowledge he was given was not intended to be shared with everyone. It was esoteric, meant for the initiated, the spiritually advanced who could understand and wield it without becoming corrupted. Enoch's role as a messenger and intermediary between humanity and the divine placed him in a unique position. He was not only a scribe who recorded the divine knowledge, but a teacher who had the responsibility of transmitting it to the few who were ready to hear it. One of the most significant aspects of Enoch's teachings is his understanding of the cosmic cycles and the connection between time, space, and spirituality. The Book of Enoch describes the precession of the equinoxes, the slow but inevitable movement of the Earth's axis that alters the position of the stars over thousands of years. Enoch's knowledge of these cycles suggests that he understood not only the physical aspects of the universe, but also the deeper spiritual significance behind the movement of the stars and planets. The heavens were seen not just as a backdrop to earthly events, but as a reflection of the divine order, a cosmic pattern that could be read and understood. In many ways, the knowledge of the stars and the divine cycles that Enoch was entrusted with is the foundation of sacred geometry and astrology, two systems of thought that have deeply influenced occult and mystical traditions throughout history. The idea that the movements of the stars and the cycles of time could influence human behavior and destiny was a concept that was central to ancient spiritual practices. Enoch's teachings were not just about understanding the heavens, they were about understanding how humanity could align itself with the cosmic order, how individuals could live in harmony with the divine laws that govern the universe. The legacy of Enoch is not confined to ancient texts or esoteric doctrines alone. It extends into the very foundations of sacred knowledge that shaped mystical traditions across cultures. The Enochian tradition, based on the teachings attributed to Enoch, has profoundly influenced the development of occult knowledge, particularly in the realms of sacred geometry, astrology, and divine architecture. These areas of knowledge, often shrouded in mystery and secrecy, can be traced back to the ancient wisdom Enoch was believed to have received during his celestial journeys. One of the most significant contributions of the Enochian tradition is its emphasis on sacred geometry, the mathematical language of the universe. Sacred geometry is the belief that the world around us, the natural world, the heavens, and even the human body, is organized according to precise, harmonious mathematical patterns. These patterns are seen as manifestations of the divine order, and they reveal the deeper spiritual truths embedded in the very fabric of reality. The study of sacred geometry is not just an intellectual pursuit, but a way to connect with the divine through understanding the hidden order of the universe. In the book of Enoch, the prophet is shown the movements of the stars, the cycles of the planets, and the geometry of the heavens. This profound understanding of the cosmic order formed the basis for much of the mystical knowledge that would later emerge in different traditions, including Hermeticism, alchemy, and the Kabbalah. The Enochian teachings emphasize that the material world is a reflection of higher divine truths, and by studying the mathematical and geometric patterns underlying the natural world, humans can begin to understand the divine principles that govern all things. One of the most powerful symbols in sacred geometry is the circle, which represents unity, wholeness, and the infinite. In ancient Egyptian and Greek traditions, the circle was seen as a symbol of the cosmos, representing the endless cycles of life, death, and rebirth. Enoch's knowledge of the cosmic cycles and the connection between the heavens and the earth mirrors this understanding. The idea that the universe is governed by sacred patterns that can be deciphered and understood through geometry, is at the heart of the Enochian teachings. Through this knowledge, Enoch was able to perceive the divine order that pervades all existence, and he shared these insights with humanity to guide them towards spiritual awakening. The Tree of Life in Kabbalistic mysticism, with its geometric structure and its representation of the paths between the Sephirot divine emanations, draws directly from the concepts found in Enochian teachings. The geometry of the Tree of Life is a map of spiritual ascent, just as the geometric patterns in Enoch's teachings were a guide for understanding the divine structure of the cosmos. Enoch's journey through the heavens and his ability to perceive the hidden dimensions of existence parallels the Kabbalistic journey toward enlightenment and spiritual realization. Both systems recognize that the universe is imbued with divine wisdom that can be accessed through the understanding of sacred patterns and symbolism. In addition to sacred geometry, the Enochian tradition is also associated with divine architecture. Many ancient cultures, particularly the Egyptians and the Greeks, believed that the design of sacred buildings and temples could invoke divine energies and establish a connection between the physical world and the divine realm. The geometry used in the construction of temples, pyramids, and other sacred sites was believed to be imbued with spiritual significance, reflecting the cosmic order and providing a space for divine wisdom to be accessed. Enoch's role as a scribe of divine knowledge suggests that he was not only a recorder of heavenly teachings, but also a guide in creating structures that aligned with the divine order. The Great Pyramid of Giza, with its precise measurements and alignment to the stars, is one of the most famous examples of sacred geometry in action. It is believed that the ancient Egyptians used geometric principles passed down through secret teachings to design the pyramid in such a way that it harmonized with the cosmic cycles and aligned with the star systems, particularly the Orion constellation. The pyramid was not just a tomb but a spiritual center, designed to help the soul ascend to the heavens. This connection between sacred geometry, divine architecture, and Enochian wisdom underscores the belief that the material world is a reflection of divine principles, and that through the study of geometry and the creation of sacred spaces, humanity can tap into higher spiritual knowledge. The story of the Lost City of Enoch is inextricably tied to the themes of divine judgment and spiritual corruption. Enoch, as a figure who bridged the gap between humanity and the divine, was also the prophet tasked with warning mankind of the consequences of straying from the divine path. In the biblical and mystical traditions, the city of Enoch is not merely a physical place. It is a symbol of a higher civilization, a culture that possessed profound knowledge and spiritual wisdom. But like many ancient civilizations in myth, it was ultimately destroyed, not by the forces of nature alone, but by the moral decline of its inhabitants and the divine wrath that followed. The idea of a lost city that falls due to the sins of its people is a recurring theme throughout mythology and religious texts. In the case of Enoch's city, the destruction is often linked to the corruption brought about by the Watchers, the fallen angels who descended to earth and mingled with humanity. According to the Book of Enoch, these Watchers were sent to teach humanity divine wisdom, but instead introduced forbidden knowledge and corrupted the human race. The Nephilim, the giants born from the union between the Watchers and human women, were seen as a direct consequence of this transgression. The rise of the Nephilim and the ensuing corruption in Enoch City signified a moral decay that could no longer be ignored by the divine. The city of Enoch, like many ancient cities in myth, was marked by unprecedented spiritual knowledge, but it also became a place of moral imbalance and divine punishment. The Watchers, who were once sent to guide humanity, became agents of chaos and destruction, spreading forbidden knowledge that led to the rise of a corrupt and violent society. The city, which was meant to be a beacon of divine wisdom, became a symbol of fallen grace, and the divine forces that once blessed it now turned against it. Enoch, as a prophet, was tasked with delivering the divine message to the Watchers and their human followers. In the Book of Enoch, he ascends to the heavens to deliver God's judgment upon the fallen angels, telling them that their actions have brought the world to the brink of ruin. The judgment is clear. The Watchers and their offspring, the Nephilim, will be punished. The fallen angels are bound and cast into the abyss, awaiting their final punishment, while the Nephilim are wiped from the earth. But the fall of Enoch City does not end with the destruction of these supernatural beings. It is a warning to humanity, a sign that divine wisdom, when corrupted, leads to chaos and eventual destruction. The great flood that swept across the earth is often linked to the fall of Enoch City. In many traditions, the flood is seen as a cleansing event, a divine reset that purged the earth of corruption and sin. The flood is described in the Bible as a judgment for the evil and depravity that had spread across the world. Some scholars believe that the flood, as described in both the biblical and the Enochian traditions, was a direct consequence of the moral decay that had taken hold of Enoch City. The city, once a center of divine wisdom, had become a breeding ground for evil and rebellion, leading to the wrath of God. In this context, the fall of Enoch City is both a literal and symbolic event. On one level, it represents the destruction of a city that once held great knowledge and spiritual power. But on a deeper level, it serves as a spiritual metaphor for the consequences of divine knowledge when it is misused or misunderstood. The knowledge that was meant to uplift humanity became a source of corruption, and the city's destruction is a reminder of the importance of spiritual purity and moral integrity. The fall of Enoch City also raises the question of divine intervention and the role of God in the affairs of humanity. Enoch City was not destroyed by external forces or natural disasters alone. It was destroyed by divine will as a direct result of the actions of the Watchers and the moral decline of the city's inhabitants. The idea that divine wisdom can be corrupted and lead to destruction is a powerful and cautionary lesson, one that has echoed through many spiritual traditions. The knowledge that humanity holds is both a gift and a responsibility, and when it is used for selfish or destructive purposes, the consequences can be catastrophic. The fall of Enoch City can also be seen as a divine cleansing, a necessary purge of the corruption that had taken root. Just as the flood cleansed the earth of the Nephilim and their corrupting influence, the destruction of Enoch City represents a return to balance, a restoration of the cosmic order that had been disrupted by the Watchers and their transgressions. In this sense, the fall of the city is not a tragic end, but a necessary step in the restoration of divine harmony. The mystery of the lost city of Enoch has captured the imaginations of explorers, archaeologists, and spiritual seekers for centuries. With its connection to ancient wisdom, divine knowledge, and cosmic forces, the city is believed to hold secrets that could change our understanding of humanity's origins and its spiritual destiny. However, despite the many theories and legends surrounding its location, the city remains elusive, hidden by the sands of time, the destruction of cataclysms, or the divine will itself. In the modern era, the search for the lost city of Enoch has taken on a new urgency, as technology and scientific methods allow us to explore remote and previously inaccessible areas with unprecedented precision. While ancient texts and religious traditions provide tantalizing clues, they are often vague or symbolic, leading many researchers to rely on geographical analysis, historical records, and archaeological techniques to uncover any physical evidence of the city's existence. The first step in the search for the lost city of Enoch is defining its possible location. As we have seen in earlier chapters, there are several competing theories about where the city might have been located. Some believe it was in the Mesopotamian region, close to the ancient civilizations of Sumer and Babylon. Others point to the Holy Land, perhaps near Jerusalem or the mountains of Zion, areas long associated with divine wisdom and sacred knowledge. Still, others speculate that Enoch City might have been far beyond these regions, in distant lands like the Americas, or even hidden in the stars themselves, as part of a cosmic blueprint. Technological advances in the search. As the search for Enoch's lost city enters the modern age, the use of cutting-edge technology has transformed how we approach the quest. One of the primary tools in the search is satellite imagery, which allows archaeologists to survey vast areas without disturbing the land. Satellites equipped with high-resolution cameras can map ancient sites, identify geological anomalies, and reveal the hidden traces of ancient cities that might otherwise remain unnoticed. In addition to satellites, ground-penetrating radar, GPR, has become a key tool in modern archaeology. GPR sends electromagnetic waves deep into the ground and analyzes the reflected signals to reveal hidden structures, tunnels, and chambers beneath the surface. In the search for the lost city of Enoch, GPR has been used to scan regions around the Giza Plateau, the Mesopotamian ruins, and other potential sites in the Holy Land. While results have been inconclusive, the use of GPR and other radar technologies could eventually lead to the discovery of hidden rooms, buried artifacts, or even lost buildings that point to Enoch's city. In some cases, researchers are also using drone mapping to explore large, difficult-to-reach areas. Drones equipped with cameras and sensors can fly over ancient ruins, creating 3D maps that reveal the layout of the land and structures. This technology is particularly useful in areas where traditional excavation is difficult or too costly. In the case of the Lost City of Enoch, drones could be deployed to fly over large remote regions where traditional archaeological expeditions have been unable to reach, exploring ancient texts and oral traditions. Despite the advances in technology, much of the search for Enoch's lost city still relies on ancient texts, myths, and oral traditions. The Book of Enoch, along with other ancient scriptures and religious texts, contains subtle clues about the city's location and the nature of its destruction. Some scholars believe that the location of the city may be hidden within the symbolism of these ancient writings. For example, Enoch's ascension to the heavens could be interpreted as a symbolic departure from the material world, indicating that his city was not meant to remain in the physical realm, but was elevated to a higher, spiritual plane. In addition to written records, oral traditions passed down through generations can provide important insights. Many cultures, especially indigenous ones, have maintained stories of ancient cities, lost knowledge, and divine interventions that mirror the tales of Enoch's city. These stories, though often dismissed as myths or legends, could hold the key to understanding the true nature of Enoch's city and its ultimate fate. In some cases, oral traditions have led explorers to previously unknown archaeological sites, where they have uncovered evidence of ancient civilizations that align with the descriptions in religious texts. The Lost City of Enoch, if it ever existed as described in ancient texts, is believed to be more than just a physical location. It is thought to be a repository of hidden knowledge, sacred wisdom, and perhaps even advanced technologies that were too powerful or too sacred for ordinary humanity to comprehend. The search for this city is not only about uncovering ancient artifacts or structures, but about rediscovering the secrets that were once thought to have been lost to time. What exactly could be hidden within the ruins of Enoch's city, and why was this knowledge concealed for so long? One of the most prominent aspects of Enoch's legacy is the wisdom he was entrusted with during his celestial journeys. The Book of Enoch details his ascension to the heavens, where he is shown the secrets of the universe, the workings of the stars, the cycles of time, and the divine laws that govern the cosmos. These teachings are said to have been revealed to Enoch by the angels, and his role as a scribe was to record and preserve these sacred revelations. But why would such profound knowledge need to be hidden, and what could it reveal about the true nature of reality? The answer may lie in the nature of the knowledge itself. The Book of Enoch is filled with references to forbidden wisdom knowledge that is both cosmic and spiritual in nature. The text describes the workings of the celestial realm, the movements of the stars, and the hidden forces that govern the universe. This knowledge was said to be too powerful for ordinary humans, as it could lead to corruption, destruction, and even divine wrath. The fallen angels, or watchers, who descended to earth to share their wisdom with humanity, are portrayed as having brought with them forbidden arts knowledge that humanity was not ready to handle, and which led to the birth of the Nephilim, a race of giants who corrupted the earth with their wickedness. In this context, the secrets hidden within the city of Enoch could include knowledge that was considered dangerous or unbalanced wisdom that had the potential to elevate humanity to divine heights. but also to destroy it if misused. The city of Enoch, as a center of this forbidden knowledge, may have been both a sanctuary and a warning, a place where the divine truths could be kept hidden until humanity was ready to understand them. Enoch's role as the guardian of these secrets was not just to record them, but to protect them from those who might misuse them. One of the most intriguing aspects of Enoch's knowledge is his understanding of sacred geometry and the divine order of the cosmos. In the book of Enoch, he is shown the structure of the heavens, the movement of the stars, and the cosmic patterns that govern time and space. This knowledge of sacred geometry, the mathematical language of the universe, is believed to have been passed down through ancient traditions, including Hermeticism, Kabbalah, and alchemy. These esoteric systems are based on the idea that the universe is governed by divine patterns, and that by understanding these patterns, one can gain access to the hidden forces that shape reality. Enoch's teachings on sacred geometry could be a key to understanding how the universe operates on both a spiritual and material level, and could unlock hidden truths about the nature of creation itself. The secrets of the Nephilim, the giants who were born from the union of the Watchers and human women, are another key aspect of the hidden knowledge that Enoch was said to have possessed. In the book of Enoch, the Nephilim are depicted as a race of beings who were both superhuman and corrupted. They were giants who had immense strength and power, but their moral depravity led to their downfall. The Nephilim are often viewed as a symbol of the dangers of forbidden knowledge, a warning that the pursuit of power without wisdom can lead to destruction. The knowledge that the Nephilim possessed could have been passed down through the city of Enoch, perhaps in the form of ancient texts or hidden artifacts, and it could hold the key to understanding the relationship between humanity, the divine, and the forces that shape our world. One of the more controversial aspects of Enoch's knowledge is his understanding of advanced technologies. Some scholars and researchers have speculated that the teachings Enoch received, particularly those related to the Watchers, may have included knowledge of advanced technologies that were far beyond the capabilities of ancient civilizations. The Watchers, as supernatural beings, were said to possess knowledge of things like alchemy, astrology, and engineering that could have been used to create technologies that were considered otherworldly by early humans. It is possible that the city of Enoch held the remains of these technologies, tools, machines, or devices that could have advanced human civilization in ways that we can only begin to imagine. The story of Enoch has transcended the boundaries of ancient texts, myth, and legend to become a symbol of spiritual awakening and divine knowledge. His ascent to the heavens, his role as the keeper of secret wisdom, and his deep connection to the celestial realm have left an indelible mark on countless spiritual and mystical traditions. Though the lost city of Enoch may remain a mystery, the legacy of Enoch himself continues to influence modern seekers, philosophers, and mystics. In this chapter, we will explore the ongoing relevance of Enoch's teachings and how they resonate in the spiritual landscape of today. The Enochian tradition in modern mysticism. Enoch's legacy lives on in mystical traditions such as Kabbalah, Hermeticism, and Gnosticism, which draw heavily from the esoteric knowledge he was said to have received. These systems of thought share common themes with the teachings in the Book of Enoch, particularly the belief that the universe is governed by sacred laws and that humanity's purpose is to align itself with the divine order. The connection between humanity and the divine, often obscured by the material world, is a central theme in the Enochian tradition, and many modern spiritual seekers turn to Enoch's teachings to gain a deeper understanding of their own spiritual journey. In Kabbalistic mysticism, Enoch is often associated with the figure of Metatron, the archangel who is believed to have been transformed from a mortal man into a divine being. This transformation reflects the spiritual ascension that is at the heart of the Enochian tradition. Through the practice of Kabbalah, modern mystics believe they can access the same divine wisdom and cosmic understanding that Enoch was granted. The study of sacred geometry, the tree of life, and the mystical texts that have been passed down through the ages are all seen as ways to reconnect with the divine knowledge that Enoch held and shared. Hermeticism, which traces its origins to the teachings of Hermes Trismegistus, also draws upon themes that echo the Book of Enoch. The Hermetic maxim, "as above, so below," is a reflection of the cosmic understanding that Enoch was granted the idea that the macrocosm and the microcosm are interconnected, and that by understanding the divine order, humanity can align itself with the universe. The Hermetic tradition, with its focus on divine wisdom, spiritual ascent, and the law of correspondence, mirrors many of the teachings attributed to Enoch, particularly the notion that hidden knowledge is available to those who seek it. In Gnosticism, Enoch's teachings about hidden knowledge and the importance of spiritual awakening resonate with the Gnostic belief that salvation comes through the discovery of secret wisdom. Gnostics view the material world as a prison for the soul, and only through the pursuit of divine knowledge can one achieve spiritual liberation. This aligns closely with Enoch's journey through the heavens, where he learned the secrets of the universe and the divine forces that govern life. For modern Gnostic seekers, the pursuit of Enochian wisdom is seen as a way to transcend the limitations of the material world and reconnect with the divine source. The influence of Enoch's knowledge on modern spirituality. The spiritual teachings associated with Enoch continue to shape modern ideas about cosmic consciousness, divine wisdom, and the relationship between humanity and the divine. In recent decades, there has been a resurgence of interest in esoteric spirituality, with many individuals seeking to uncover ancient wisdom that was once thought to be lost. Enoch's story serves as a powerful symbol for those who seek to reconnect with the divine and uncover the hidden truths of the universe. Sacred geometry and astrology, both of which are central to the Enochian tradition, have experienced a revival in modern spiritual practices. The idea that the universe is governed by divine patterns, which can be understood through the study of geometry and the movement of the stars, has found a new audience among those interested in holistic spirituality and metaphysical exploration. Enoch's teachings about the celestial realm and the mysteries of the stars continue to inspire those who believe that the stars hold the keys to unlocking divine knowledge. In addition to sacred geometry and astrology, Enoch's teachings also resonate with the contemporary interest in meditative practices and spiritual ascension. The idea of spiritual elevation, of transcending the limitations of the physical world and ascending to higher realms of consciousness, is central to many modern spiritual systems. Whether through meditation, prayer, or ritual, many seekers believe that they can access the same divine knowledge that Enoch was entrusted with. The pursuit of spiritual enlightenment and the quest for hidden wisdom are seen as part of a larger, ongoing process of awakening that connects humanity to the divine.